guys, I never talked about this and I just remembered. So I watched this girl's video, and this is not, like I said, my opinions on political parties. I don't dislike anyone based off of their political beliefs. I simply just do not conform to either political party. I am an independent thinker, and I'm going to tell you guys why. So I watched this girl's video, and she was talking about how she, like, when she was younger, she was super liberal, like extreme leftist, and then she's now conservative, right? And she says she's conservative. She became conservative after she became a Christian and got saved, because she was so depressed and hateful and angry and fearful, like all the time, had so much anxiety, depression, all of these things when she was like a raging liberal. And she brought up something that I've mentioned before, which is, she said the reason that she was so extreme in her beliefs is because of the media she was consuming at the time. And I 100% believe and understand that take, because even, like, that's what I also have stated. Like, when I was younger, I was probably more liberal leaning because of the media I was consuming. I was consuming all of this biased media saying like how hateful and racist and bigoted everyone who is a conservative is. And it's also, they use a lot of fear mongering, where essentially they are just, you know, they're not really taking into account any type of, like, you know, just because you disagree, it's like there's no grace given, and there's no like, oh, we can agree to disagree. There's no, like, it's just like anyone who doesn't agree with me is a horrible person. It's kind of the mindset that some extreme liberal left-leaning media pushes, and it actually comes off as extremely intolerant, hateful. It's like, just like you're the extreme that they're calling the other side is actually what they are, and they don't recognize it because they're like stuck in that, like, this state of thinking like my beliefs. And also she brought up another point, like this idea of what's the word, it was like they have this false sense of like, I'm a more moral person, essentially. Like, they have this heightened sense of moral superiority to other people because of their political beliefs, which is an insane take, in my opinion. To believe your political beliefs make you a more moral person is a very extreme, well, I should say it's a very obviously biased sense of morality, but it's also like it's an opinion. A political opinion is not a moral. Opinions change, right? And then it's just like people's senses of morality are also not stable throughout their whole lives, right? Like, there's things that you would think are okay as a child, and you get older, your prefrontal cortex develops, and you're like, actually, this is really wrong. I probably shouldn't do that. There's choices I made when I was younger that I wouldn't make as an adult. You know, did the morals, the things that I saw as okay when I was younger, I don't see as okay as an adult. So it's just like, that's not even a true sense of morality to base it off of like a political stance, because what politics say isn't moral has changed over time. It's changed throughout many years. It's like there's not even it's not even a stable set of morals to live your life by, because, you know, we all this talk about how party switch, and the Democrats used to support slavery and now they don't, and then they tell you, oh, well, the party switched at some point and it's like, what are you talking about? Anyways, basically it doesn't, basing your morals off of a political stance is just not even sensical or logical, in my opinion, because the morals in politics are not even stable. They change over time. And it's also like, these are socially constructed ideas of morals, meaning if society gets more and more corrupt and evil, we start normalizing evil. And if society society gets more and more, you know, develops morals, society gets more morals. But it's like the politics itself are not creating the morals, because the politics are created by the morals that already exist within the population. Anyways, I'm saying a lot, but essentially she said she had this false sense of moral superiority to other people because she was liberal, but she was also extremely depressed, anxious, and all of those things. And I 100% agree with her reasoning, saying it was like the media, because that's one of the reasons I don't like Facebook. Facebook is so toxic. When I stopped using Facebook, I actually became able to form opinions on my own without the biased media that I was consuming or seeing my friends share. Because the truth is, liberal media uses a lot of fear mongering, and it uses a lot of emotional, it literally needs you to be emotional for you to have a response. So they create these extreme takes, and a lot of it is manipulated to get this emotional response out of people. And they want the emotional response they're targeting is fear and anger half the time. They just want you to be afraid and angry. Look at all of the media, pieces of media that are released out right now. And a lot of them want you to either be afraid of something or angry about something. They use these extreme takes because this emotional response gets them more views, gets them more clicks, gets them more shared. So there's a lot of emotional manipulation happening in how they phrase things, how they frame things, how they manipulate things to make them seem worse than what they actually are. It's extremely manipulative, is my point, because they want to create this heightened emotional response. So there's that. And that's why a lot of liberals are they hate the country, they think everything's horrible, nothing good happens in the world, because they're literally consuming nothing but these extremely negative pieces of media that make everyone else make the entire world sound like it's nothing but horrible things happening all the time. And it puts you in this very, very negative headspace, which is why people become depressed and anxious and all of these things about the state of our world, because they're literally consuming nothing but negative things about the world. And that creates a negative mindset and a negative viewpoint of the world and of the country. And so I used to think the same way. I used to think racism was the worst thing in the world, and it is. Racism is bad, but is it the biggest problem in America right now? I would not say that. Oh, my auntie's sitting out. All right, I made it to my grandma, so I'll have to continue my conversation in part 2, or I'll just make another video when I get home.